Hi everybody, it's your friend Daniel Hutchins. We're back again, we are back again. We just checked in with some of my friends on a group chat, and we just got home from Walmart and McDonald's. Just like we had to grab a couple of supplies, grab some breakfast, the whole drill. You already know, I told you guys this several different times throughout the channel. Yep, this is normal stuff. Okay, so anyway, on with the announcements, okay? So one of my good close friends is really tight with money right now. He's trying to get himself a job, but he has to sell some of his costumes. But because he's kind of desperate right now. He's really desperate, and he's trying to provide for his mom and all this stuff. But all I can say is I have sympathy for him. He's a good brother of mine. He's a close friend of mine. He's been my friend for like 4 years now. He's a good friend of mine, good close friend of mine. He's out west, out somewhere near California. Man. But anyway, yeah, he's a good friend of mine, a friend of a friend of mine, and he's desperate for money right now. But all I can say is I have absolute sympathy for him. Absolute sympathy. And to be honest, he is a really, really, really good friend of mine. So, again, he's kind of in a situation right now where he's trying to be like, okay, I gotta sell some stuff off to provide money for his mom, because he lives with his mom and all that. And it's like, okay, yeah, sort of kind of goes down like that. But also, my good friend also is like really, really big into motorcycles and all that stuff. So yeah, he's trying to make sure he turns around some stuff so he can get some money to pay off the bill on his motorcycles. So yeah, aside from that, the other announcements I gotta say is yeah, I guess my folks are okay. I guess my other friends, I guess, are okay. I had a nice back-to-back conversation with my brother. Another back-to-back conversation with my best friend from college, who I call my best brother. And then, yeah, we finally are wrapping up the wild cards tonight. The wild cards for the NFL tonight, we're wrapping those up, and should see what happens tonight at 8. So 8 o'clock tonight Eastern time. Should be able to find out what happens. It's going to be the Vikings versus the Rams. But yeah, aside from the news about my friend, my folks are okay, my brothers are okay, my best friend's okay, and all that. Yeah, I went ahead and I went on one of my channels last night, and I watched one of these channels that I really, really love. They're called the New Rock Stars. Yes, they're a comic book channel, the New Rock Stars. I went on the New Rock Stars last night on my YouTube, and I watched the whole season 1 of Creature Commando. Again, I watched the whole series of Creature Commandos again, from beginning to the end, with secret Easter eggs and things people might have missed from the series. I don't know, it was about an hour and 10 minutes long, but yeah, it was definitely well worth it. I didn't go to bed till almost like 12 last night. So yeah. Oh yeah, aside from that, and watching Creature Commandos again last night on the New Rockstars channel, and now I'm just thinking like to myself, like I'm having second doubts about James Gunn. I'm having second doubts about James Gunn because it's like, okay, yeah, we know he's a creative mastermind genius and all that, and he, made the Suicide Squad, and he made the Guardians of the Galaxy and all that, and he also was the one responsible for making the Awesome Mix. But yeah, anyway, here's really some people out there that are trying to pull some punches on James Gunn and not take him seriously. But at the same time, it's like, oh, yeah, I'm kind of like at the point now, like anytime I see a Snyderverse fan going at it at a Gunn fan, it's like, come on, bro, you need to accept the past and move forward. Like, real. You need to accept the past and move forward. It's not always going to be all about Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck anymore. It's now different. But, oh yeah, aside from possibly the fact that we'll probably have a Suicide Squad centered spin-off show on HBO Max this year, and then also having Superman come out on July the 11th. There's really not much going on at the DC studios right now. Yeah, they're going to be making Peacemaker season 2. Yeah, it's going to be set in the DCU instead of the DCEU, because the DCEU had ended at Lost Kingdom Aquaman, which still is kind of a nail biter, but I went back a couple months ago and watched Lost Kingdom again. It was like, damn, it cheers me up every freaking time I see Aquaman making peace with the world and then having, his brother from Atlantis be reformed and now living on the surface world. It's like, damn. But at the same time, it's like, we kind of want to go back to what it would have been, but then it's like, oh yeah, Jason Momoa is the only DCEU actor who is left in James Gunn's universe. The only stand-in DCEU actor, which means, yes, Jason Momoa is supposed to be slated to play Lobo, the last Starzarian. Yeah, the last Starzarian from, he's a mercenary biker from the 1990s. If you read Lobo, or you read The Adventures of Superman back from the 1990s arc, you probably would know who Lobo is. But if you aren't from the 90s and you don't know who Lobo is, I widely suggest you check Lobo out. Lobo is awesome. He's the last Starzarian. He's kind of a punk, and he's kind of got like a little rude edge to him. But oh yeah, he kind of is famous for riding a motorcycle, or like a space motorcycle or something. And obviously he's oftentimes noted that he always has like this tattoo on his arm that says "Love Bites" or something like that. But oh yeah, we're gonna actually see Lobo in 2026. I'm actually looking forward to seeing Jason return as a villain this time, as Lobo, the last Starzarian. Yeah, he's a villain, or actually an anti-hero, and big chunk of the 90s, big arc of the 90s, Superman had Lobo, and he's kind of like a mercenary biker. He's kind of like, I got a beef with Superman. And now this time, instead of having Superman fill in, it's going to be having Supergirl. So it's going to be even worse. Which I don't know. It's like people compare Supergirl to Superman and say Supergirl is worse than Superman. But that's the problem, though. People don't really read the comics. People don't know these things unless, you were taught by your father or your father's brothers or your grandfather or anything like that. Because it's like, oh yeah, unless you were taught well, like I was back in the early double O's, which I call 2000s, the early double O's. Unless you grew up in a time like me back in the early double O's, you probably wouldn't know what anything was going on right now in DC Studios. Because, to be honest, a lot of the stuff that James Gunn is trying to bring is all basically loose nostalgia. It's all loosely based nostalgic. It's like, okay, yeah, we want to have these characters from this decade come into the fold into DC Studios and be like, oh yeah, well, we're going to be having Guy Gardner. Actually, there's lots of memes going around with him. He's known as the Green Lantern who kind of has a bowl cut and is oftentimes known as the douchebag Green Lantern. But yeah, we're going to be getting the douchebag Green Lantern actually this year. This summer, we'll actually see the first live-action douchebag Green Lantern. I call Guy Gardner the douchebag Green Lantern because obviously he was always kind of tied in with Superman in the 90s. And also, so yeah, like I said, Superman 2025, it's going to be really weird, man. It's going to be really weird. But yeah, next year Supergirl's going to have Lobo, I told you. And it's going to be weird having the woman of tomorrow having the face against the last Zarzarian. So it's like, okay, yeah. So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to build up the universe. So it's like, okay, yeah. Oh, special note. The Flash director is going to be directing Batman. I forgot to tell you that. Oh yeah, Flash director is going to be directing Batman. Yeah. I loosely told you guys something about that. But it's like, oh yeah. Do we really want to trust Andy Muschietti again at helming and directing another film in the DC Studios? Well, we kind of don't have really much of a choice. Because it's like, oh yeah, we're going to have Andy Muschietti, the one who directed The Flash. The same director of The Flash is coming back and directing Batman Brave and the Bold. And from what it looks like right now, the earliest we can get Brave and the Bold is probably 2027. Because if you think about it, it usually takes about 2 years to make a movie. So if it usually takes about 2 years to make a movie and then have the film in and have it wrapped and everything, it's like, god damn, by the time the movie comes, it's like, where's the anticipation then? It's like, where's the anticipation then? It's like, oh yeah, kind of sort of like that in a way, because like, oh yeah, well, they're trying to build up something. James Gunn's definitely trying to build something. Oh yeah, but again, I don't know where my gut is feeling right now, but I can tell you, having the Flash director, be the one who's in charge of the Batman Brave and the Bold, and the fact that Batman Brave and the Bold is actually going to still happen, only it's going to be after Superman and after Supergirl, obviously, for obvious reason. Then again, it's like, oh yeah, of course. But do you really want to trust the hand of the director who made The Flash to make Batman Brave and the Bold? Well, yeah, you kind of don't have a choice. Like I just said a few moments ago. But it's like, okay, any director's better than no director. That's like the same thing that goes on the other side of the fence. It's like, oh yeah, Oh, by the way, I actually saw teaser trailers of the Doomsday, the Avengers. The Doomsday Avengers actually looks freaking awesome. If you saw the teaser trailers for them, they look absolutely awesome. I'm not going to lie, Doomsday looks awesome. But it's not going to come out till next year. So, just remember that.